Else, then let's move on to the approval of the October 7th, 2025 meeting agenda. Staff?
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. I've got just a few additions and a recommendation for you. The first addition is for the other business item A, the voucher request pending approval for disbursement. Council was emailed this earlier and we have a printed copy, but it's the actual disbursement report that's available and ready. So that's the first addition. The second is an updated list of pending special assessments for public hearing C. Council has also emailed this list and a printed version is available if people would like to view that tonight. And then the last one is a recommendation to move new business item C to do new business item A, so just ahead of the closed sessions. And those are the recommendations from staff tonight.
Okay, thank you, Chase. Council, anything from you?
I will make a motion to amend new business item C to new business item A and approve the agenda.
All those in favor say aye.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no or nay. Okay, that has been approved. Next is the consent agenda. Pursuant to council rules, one motion, non-debatable, will approve the recommendation noted. Any member of the council may ask for an item to be taken from the consent agenda for discussion and separate action. Such items removed from the consent agenda shall be considered immediately following the approval of the balance of the consent agenda. Staff, anything that you'd like to change? Okay. Council, anything from the consent agenda?
Yes, I'd like to remove item G.
Item G, recommendation for Charter Commission appointment. Okay. Council, anything else?
Hearing none, I move that we approve the balance of the consent agenda.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no or nay. All right. Consent agenda balance approved. Item G, recommendation for Charter Commission appointment.
Yes, so just really quickly, just want to acknowledge and recognize Jessica Cameron for stepping into a space for the Charter Commission, and I think she might be, she's present this evening, so just thank you so much for willing to step in and step into that. Yeah, that's all I have.
Fantastic. All right. Welcome to the Charter Commission, Jessica. Okay.
And then
Is there a motion to?
Motion to approve item G on the agenda.
second.
Thank you. All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no or nay. All right. Jessica, you're on the Charter Commission.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard. Thank you. So what else did we approve? We approved City Council meeting minutes from September 2nd, 2025. We approved City Council meeting minutes from September 16th, 2025. We approved work session meeting minutes from August 12th, 2025. We approved special work session meeting minutes from August 19th, 2025. We approved work session meeting minutes from September 9th, 2025. We approved a new citation platform for police. We received Sustainability Committee meeting minutes from August 20th, 2025. We received Sustainability Committee minutes from September 17th, 2025. We approved the investment report. We approved the accepting organics recycling drop-off grant from Hennepin County. We approved the Deputy Registrar's monthly financial statements. And we approved Robbinsdale Wine and Spirits monthly financial statements as well. Right. Moving on. Presentations. Up first is the Sustainability Committee presentation.
Okay, take it away. Good evening. I'm Erin Hart, member of the Robbinsdale Sustainability Committee, here to introduce on behalf of our committee what we'll present tonight. Did everyone have a chance to either receive or maybe briefly review what we're going to go over? Okay, great. Thank you in advance for reviewing that. I know we've got a hearty list of things. But just as a reminder of who we are, for the last 3 years, the Robbinsdale Sustainability Committee has been championing our efforts as the City of Robbinsdale has put sustainability as a top goal. We've been meeting since September 2024, and the purpose of the Sustainability Committee is to further support and to promote initiatives, make recommendations on new programs, policies, and assist staffs with events, communication, and more. You can see here some of our community engagement in action. And what we'll be going over tonight first, after a quick introduction, I'll be leading with community engagement. You'll hear from green spaces and land use, and then also about our climate action plan. And before I jump in to that, we're starting with community engagement because that's kind of where we've decided to put in a lot of our time as we've been developing as a community or as a sustainability committee. Throughout the last year, we have tabled at 5 city events. We've adopted a park, planted a rain garden, supported the home energy audit and organics recycling campaigns, and we hosted our first ever community compost pickup. But we're just getting started, of course. An important part of our work over the summer was reviewing as well as celebrating the fantastic achievements we've been able to champion, thanks in partnership with Kayla, our leader, and the generosity and time and expertise of our Robbinsdale city staff. This has allowed us to establish our strengths, growth opportunities, and identify and refine the direction and our scope of our future work. Tonight you're going to hear our plans to drive this impactful and substantial growth from the 3 areas of sustainability that I mentioned, including engagement, green space, and climate action. We're then at the end going to also present our recommendations and resource requests, which will support Robbinsdale's commitment to sustainability and help us achieve our ambitious but very achievable goals. And we have at the end reserved time for discussion and questions, but happy to answer any clarifying questions as they come up. So with that, I'm going to introduce community engagement. As I mentioned, over the last year, we found every opportunity we could to be immersed within different city events, including Whiz Bang, the very recent one, the Chamber of Commerce, as well as partnering, like I mentioned, with city staff to coordinate things like the native plant sale, compost pickup, and our rain garden planting. These efforts have been very exciting. We've met a lot of people from the community at the Chamber of Commerce Broadway evening. We had our booth and a lot of really positive interaction from the community. Lots of questions on the home energy audit, as well as people supporting that, and really excited that we have that to offer. And we did have some good engagement and new signups for organics recycling. So that was exciting. For the year ahead, we want to continue this work and our really strong momentum. And we've got laid out our community engagement events plus the awareness programming. So that includes our tabling, again, at the events that I already mentioned. So continuing that, continuing to support the compost pickup, native plant sale, additional rain garden planting opportunities, as well as community garden support. A new event that we'd like to add is an Electric Energy 101 type of campaign, including a workshop to educate our community on moving to electric energy sourced items in their home. This includes appliances, yard tools, lighting, things of that nature, to kind of help sustain these events after the event is over, we'll be working in some awareness programming throughout the season. So with a fall into winter awareness program, we would like to communicate winter best practices, including storm drain cleanout, responsible yard waste cleanout, and smart salting. This is also a great opportunity to continue to promote the home energy efficiency audits so that people can save on their electric bills, since that's a big concern to all of us. In the new year, we'd like to focus on new habit awareness, campaigning around easy ways to incorporate sustainable practices. Our goal is to really meet our residents where they are. So whether it is a renter, a homeowner, a business owner, somebody who is 100% engaged, supporting sustainable practices, or those who maybe need a little bit help or education on how to get started. After that, we would like to do an Electrify Your Ride event, which would be an in-person workshop to educate, continue that discussion on electrifying your home with an introduction to electric cars, information on how to decide on options, and answer questions about charging and availability within our city. Throughout the year, we'll also support organics recycling awareness, just continuing to promote adoption of that organics recycling, including responsible plastic recycling. So in order to drive this engagement, we have a list of some of our requests and recommendations, starting with Sustainability Committee branded signage for community events so that we can promote not only awareness of the Sustainability Committee, but then easily direct people to go to the part of the website where these initiatives are. That could also include things like name tags or t-shirts so that we can become recognizable in the community when we're at events. The support of educational materials, such as the magnets that we've used as kind of take-home or leave-behind items. And, just a few other different options. We're interested in offering incentives for signing up for recycling, for organics recycling. This could be something like getting them started with some small liners, a how-to sheet, potentially partnering with a small local business to stock and carry a couple of different recommended styles of compost bins and bags with an incentive like a coupon or something we'd partner with. We'd also like to revive that new resident resource packet that was discontinued several years ago, but this would be a great way to introduce organics recycling, the Energy Squad visits, and inform our newest residents that Robbinsdale is really committed to sustainability. And then some continued support for creating case studies. I know that Mia just had recently helped us get one created, so we're excited for that. But these are a really important way for our own residents to share their experiences, as well as vouch for the effectiveness and the impact that they're making in our lives. So it's one thing for us to be in the community, speaking with people, promoting things, but if we can have everyone hear from their peers, that is really, really strong validation. And with that, we've got green space.
Hi, my name is Megan Hanelitz, and I'm here representing the Green Space and Land Use Subcommittee, along with Alice Sandy and Carol Larson. To begin, I'd like to take a moment to recognize the efforts that are already making Robbinsdale a more eco-friendly community. From the city's commitment to native plantings, as shown in our rain gardens and the water treatment plant's green roof, to the city's stormwater management system, to the ongoing efforts to incorporate solar energy into government buildings, Robbinsdale has shown, time and again, that sustainability is a value we act upon. However, as our community continues to grow and evolve, so does our responsibility to ensure that our green spaces are resilient and environmentally sound for years to come. Our subcommittee's mission is to explore ways we can enhance these spaces. That means thinking about how city land is used, how we can replace existing high-maintenance turf with native or low-input ground covers, and how to make better use of public areas. We envision green areas that support pollinators and wildlife, using native species that thrive without excess water or chemicals, and demonstrate environmental leadership showing residents what sustainable landscaping looks like by using real-world, close-to-home examples. So where do we start? City Hall is a highly visible, highly trafficked site that represents who we are as a community. We have the opportunity to lead by example by transforming the landscape outside this building into a more sustainable model. By incorporating low-maintenance ground covers, additional native plantings, and adding educational signage, we can minimize required upkeep, reduce the amount of water and fertilizer necessary to keep these spaces looking beautiful, while also helping to educate community members about sustainable landscaping. Pictured here are just a few examples of low-growing, easy-care ground covers that support pollinators. Self-heal grows in thick mats, is foot traffic resistant, and when left to flower, attracts butterflies and bumblebees. Clover can thrive in sun or shade and is known for its nitrogen fixation, which naturally enriches the soil and keeps it green with much less water than traditional turf grass. Creeping thyme is mildly fragrant, especially sun-tolerant, and uniquely resistant to salt, making it a great option for boulevards and walkways. We understand that these changes will take time. Creating sustainable green areas isn't about overhauling everything at once, but rather about making thoughtful, incremental changes that add up over time and inspire similar projects across the city. Together, through collaboration, education, and community engagement, we can make Robbinsdale a model of sustainable land use while building a greener future. Thank you.
All right. Hello. How you guys doing? I'm Nick. I'm going to talk about the Climate Action Plan Subcommittee. Jonathan, Sadie, and Chris are all here as well. And I'm assuming there's going to be a lot of questions after all of this, so if you want to ask specific people in the committee, please feel free. This header has icons of just generally what a climate action plan means for different cities, so it's a good representation of kind of where we're going with this. For some context, 3.5 years ago, Robbinsdale declared a climate emergency. Some of you were on the council then, and 15 other cities joined along with that. The city has signaled commitment to an equitable future by recently adding the equity section to the city charter this summer. And then in the 2022 resolution, there were 4 primary goals: to create a sustainability committee, to enter green step cities, to take advantage of the federal and state funding opportunities for sustainability, and to create a climate action plan. And 3 of those 4 have been completed, as you all know, very successfully. So we're trying to get the ball moving on getting a climate action plan created and implemented in the city, which is a big task. All right, so we're going to talk really quickly about the Hopkins Climate Action Plan. It's the most recent climate action plan that we know of nearby. We think Hopkins is a good comparison. Robbinsdale and Hopkins are similar sizes. They both have very cute downtowns. And the MPCA helped fund this, so we think it's a really solid framework. Their climate action plan is a project-based approach. They're aiming to reduce emissions very quickly with equity in mind, to increase community resiliency and to mitigate climate risk to residents. It's actually called the Hopkins Climate Solutions Plan, so it's not a climate action plan. CAP is the climate action plan acronym, but it's important to know that there's different names for all of these. So if we're looking and studying, which we've done a lot of, there's all of those naming issues. So yeah, they started the climate action plan process with stakeholder engagement community in January of this year, and they've already finished it and they're starting implementation phase. That's another reason we really appreciated that plan, is because it happened very quickly. The science is really clear about a lot of the can-dos and should-dos. And so we think it's a good one to follow. And there's cool measurable goals, and there's a 5-year plan for the short-term ones, and then they have longer-term goals as well. Some other nearby cities, I'm just going to look at this list. So in development right now, Crystal has a climate action plan that they're developing in the community. Golden Valley as well has different forums, resiliency plans. Plymouth is also in an ongoing process of creating one. Minneapolis created one in 2009. I mentioned Hopkins this year, Burnsville, St. Anthony Village. Hennepin County has one as well that's really comprehensive. Metropolitan Council has a really helpful template as well. So I'm just trying to get across. A lot of cities are doing this. This is the momentum. We have a comprehensive, CIP improvement plan. so we can weave together some of these planning processes. So yeah, we want to create a climate action plan. So what does that mean? We've come up with a lot of ideas, but we don't necessarily want to hoard those ideas and keep it in the sustainability committee. We want to open it up to the community. And from your guys' perspective, we know you have a lot of knowledge about how the government works and how we could apply things. So we kind of want to open it up to the community and not hoard it. But here are some of our ideas. Short-term goals: identify sustainability barriers that exist in city code and revise those quickly. Jonathan, can I share that example, the heat pump example potentially? Maybe that's not the time. There are barriers sometimes that prevent sustainable actions from community members. So we want to try to work on that, either as a committee or as a community. We want to increase community participation, so inviting people into the discussion and creating maybe a steering committee like other cities have done to help add things to the plan. And then utilizing gas franchise fees is one idea that many cities have done to just fundraise for projects and initiatives. So that's a portion of our utility bills that the city collects for different projects. Right now, I believe it goes to our general fund. It could go towards like a green fund that would directly fund sustainability projects. In the medium term, studying the feasibility of owning our own power as a city. So that would be potentially getting in discussion with Xcel Energy and other investor-owned utilities and looking at ways that we could actually decarbonize quicker, or at least force them to decarbonize quicker, which I think would be an interesting move. Utilizing that green fund, the green fund would be the franchise fees fund for weatherization and electrification. And then some of the longer term goals, going carbon free as a city, which could be in tandem with our investor-owned utilities or on our own, which would be, I think, an interesting approach. And then fully electrifying businesses and homes in the area and making sure we're not using carbon or burning carbon. All right, so here are general recommendations, all of those sections put together. So we would like to continue support for sustainable efforts. You guys have identified that as being a priority area. What that means is maybe, I know you're in budget talks, so that could be more money towards sustainability initiatives, which we would surely appreciate. Support and budget for the increase of biodiverse native ground cover in Robbinsdale. We've done that with some of the native plant sale initiatives, but doing that more of like part of what we're doing every day as a city. Allocate a budget for community engagement and sustainability events. That could just be increasing the sustainability department budget. Supporting community involvement in developing a climate action plan. That goes into the next one. So we want to develop a climate action plan. We don't want to do it alone. There are also professional consultants that we could hire, which we highly recommend. We think that looking at the nearby cities that have done this and are doing a good job at it, that's the approach that they take. So it would take flash funding of hiring a consultant to help our community walk through that process, someone that's done it before and is a professional at it. And then in some of the longer term things is collaborating with us, the committee, to work on sustainability initiatives. We don't want to be a silo that isn't actually being effective. And we think that partnering with you and other city groups is really important. And then directing staff to initiate participation in the Gold Leaf Challenge. I don't know if you're aware of the Gold Leaf Challenge. It's a decarbonization challenge, similar to Green Step cities where there's milestones and targets. But it's kind of a step up from Green Step cities. So those are kind of the high view recommendations. And now I'm sure there are some questions. And I'll step back and maybe come up if you want to answer it.
Council, questions? Yes.
Sure, please.
Councilmember Parisi.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you all for the presentation tonight, and not only for the efforts that you put in to present these recommendations, but also for the ongoing work since the formation of this committee. We recognize that it's volunteer run, and that takes drive and effort and time and commitment. So I want to just wholeheartedly thank you all for the work that you've done for the last year plus. Also, Since the last recommendation was about the Gold Leaf Challenge, I did spend a little bit of time very briefly looking at this. It looks like it's part of the Green Steps program, if that's correct. And then I gather that there's a part of that that helps with creation of a climate action plan.
Yeah.
So I would be supportive to continue looking at that path for support with creation of a climate action plan. That's something that I would like to hope that the council supports. I would also like to see and potentially direct staff to source funding opportunities and grants for something like a consultant or other funding to support that work. As you mentioned, as many people know, we're in budget season right now, and that is how a lot of this work is able to get done. Special shout out to Kayla. Since the creation of your role, that's really what kickstarted a lot of this work, and that was a budget decision to start with. So I want to acknowledge that as well. Overall, I don't know that I have any specific questions. I wanted to learn more about the Gold Leaf Challenge, so I don't know if you have more specific information around that, but otherwise if I had to choose one priority, of course I want to say yes to all of these and continue to support as much as possible. But I think what's helpful to staff is to understand where the top priorities are, and I am inclined to put some focus on the climate action plan, because I think seeing the results of the energy action plan and how that we can continue to tie those to the council goals are really key, and what keeps that work going in the long term. So that's my initial feedback. I don't have any specific questions at the moment, but again, thanks to everyone for presenting.
I could just reiterate Kayla's position. Also, it's been amazing to have all of this has been driven by that and agreed on the budget side of things. I think that decision to move her into sustainability, I think, has been huge. So, and that was one move, right? We can do a lot. So I appreciate that.
Thank you.
I have a few questions, but I'll lead off with this though. My first question, I think this is overall, like, what's been the most rewarding part of being a part of the sustainability committee? I think as we think about residents and with their work and what you've done, to hear from you all firsthand about what's been really exciting and what's really rewarding for you, I think it's really important as well too.
I don't want to hug this. Someone has to stand up here.
I think for me, being on the committee has been just knowing how many like-minded people there are in our community has been really refreshing and hopeful. And understanding Kayla's role in having an actual paid person to push us forward makes me really happy to be a part of Robbinsdale.
Nice.
So that's been a big deal for me to not feel like I'm such an island, I guess. So yeah, it's been really good that way.
I'm a new resident in Robbinsdale. I just moved here
Welcome.
Welcome.
a few years, and when I first moved here, I was walking down the different streets, getting to know my community, and I didn't see very many composting bins, and that really concerned me. So I found out that there was a sustainability coordinator, and I contacted Kayla and I said, I want to do something. Like, I want to be a part of this movement to make Robbinsdale a better place to live. And then the opportunity to join the sustainability committee came up. So this is a real win for me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd say that I think the most rewarding part which I think a lot of people would agree with, is just getting more involved with our community and having a place to put our passion and interest and motivation to drive this. so like you said, we're not on an island. I know that in my own experience, supporting my child, adopting our neighborhood park, working with my Girl Scout troop to sponsor the community gardens and things like that. It's like all of these little things that I was just reaching for opportunities to do. But now that we have a committee and we are trying to identify KPIs and spend a lot of time studying adjacent cities, to understand what's working for them, what could we implement to drive really actionable change. And then when we're out in the community, just hearing from all of our fellow residents about, I think it was great when we were at the meet and greet. I had somebody who shared that this couple just had their energy audit. They were so excited, so impressed with it. I have his number. His name's Craig. He's going to do a testimonial for us so we can do a case study. But just getting feedback on what our fellow residents like, because this is driven by us, and by the more that we can get involved and bring everyone together, it's less that everyone will feel like an island, and that their actions, no matter how large or small, have a better and bigger impact.
Cool.
I would share my perspective. The climate crisis is very concerning, obviously, to most people that understand it. And this is one group that we are making progress here and now, which is exciting and important. And I've said this before in the group, but it's not up to you guys to change our city completely. It's up to the people. And so we're presenting this committee was made by you. And so we're here to just present as people that are interested in the community. So it's exciting to get the ball moving and start making progress for me.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. And my last question, because y'all answered another one within that. Do you know of any other carbon-free cities?
I don't have a list on the top of my head, but I know that there are plenty across the world. I don't know about American cities.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So I would say, our car culture probably is the culprit for that one. But yeah, I could look that up for you and get back to that.
I'll just get off top. You're good. Thank you.
No, I'm gonna. It's too late.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm curious to see. A lot of them do, from what we've looked at, and and looking at our goals. I think starting with, I was part of the original energy action planning, and taking a look at those KPIs and those goals. Working with the sustainability committee, looking at adjacent communities that are like our size, that have similar resources, saying hey, there's a lot we can do to be a little bit more aggressive with these goals. And there are, I'd say, just about every community has within their action plan, whether it's formalized or not, definite goals outlined as far as achieving carbon reductions, and then essentially that long-term goal of carbon-free energy.
Thank you. I think it highlights the importance of a community and how we see our role in that. So I'm glad you keep saying that.
I have a comment and then a question also. So I would be interested to know from a staff's perspective if we replace the berm, right, with native plants like the thyme and the clover, what that offsets from a maintenance perspective, because that's real. I mean, I think that helps people kind of see the light who may not otherwise. And I have a question that's a little ignorant, but the plant sale that you're mentioning, is that the same in the only plant sale we did with the city? Because we had a plant sale here back in April, didn't we?
Yep.
So that's the native plant
sale. So we help support the efforts with our city forester and in part with Kayla, and then we use that in coordination to host the first compost pickup.
Yep.
And use that as an awareness outreach effort just to connect with the community. And they were very, very excited to see the availability of compost to them. And it was a great opportunity for us, for the first time for some of us to get out at a community event and educate people on it.
Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, I know in my backyard I've got a great spot for a rain garden. I just need to know what it looks like, so education's good.
We can host some community events to install one and share with people best practices and how to get that established.
I would love that. When it comes to the native plant sale, I do have an ask. And that ask is, We have a business in town, Ace, and they have a garden. And if there was a way where you two could work together, you know, that would be awesome, because that helps the business, that helps you get your message across. Unless I'm misunderstanding how the funds fund from the plant sale something else, but it would be cool to see cooperation with local business too. So
That's a great idea.
Yeah, they're ACEs who I was planning on, if we wanted to go forward with some type of an incentive or a coupon, that would be the community partner that we would
Awesome.
choose to ask if they could, you know, support us with either, you know, some signage, offering a couple of things that we can point people, hey, check out ACE, here's a coupon to use if you do, which we agree would be really great to support a local business. As far as, are you asking about procuring the plants that are offered? Or,
just working together.
oh yeah, sure.
So
Yeah.
my gut tells me that they'd probably be into it.
Oh, yeah.
So
One quick thing on your maintenance comment, because I agree. A lot of these ideas, I think we're all in pretty much full agreement that they would save the city long-term money like that. So our goal is also sustainability in the financial sense, right? Like, what would it look like for residents to not
there you go.
be paying extra on their utility bills because an investor-owned utility is, you know,
You know, it's interesting you say
Raising
that, because I
rates.
think a lot of times people lose,
Yeah.
they think, oh, well, if I've got to put solar panels on my house, it's a 20-year payback or whatever that is. And it's like, well, there's actually some of these things actually do save you money right
Yeah,
away
yeah.
over the long term.
Yeah.
So I love hearing you guys say that,
Yeah.
especially in budget season. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Or
All right.
watering, you know, fields of,
Yeah.
you know,
Kentucky.
grass, Kentucky bluegrass does nothing for the environment, nothing for our community, and takes time and resource from paying people to mow that lawn with gas-powered
Yeah.
equipment. Water is so expensive. So these are things that are not only important to help us get to, you know, our sustainability goals, but are very, very fiscally, you know, advantageous.
I mean, I have a little panic attack if I think about turning on my sprinkler. So I get it.
Native plants need a fraction of the water.
Real quick, I think I didn't go to these. Oh yeah, there's just names and things. You probably already saw this. Just wanted to go through the slideshow. My bad. That's it.
Awesome.
Mayor?
Yes,
May I have
yes.
some
Councilmember Wagner.
questions? Yes, thank you. Thank you for the presentation and the information. I think a lot of what I was curious about has been answered. I have some questions for staff too, but I think one thing that, talking about the examples of the other cities, did you come across or identify code changes that they needed to do to implement some of these things? You were talking about barriers, and I want to make sure that Robbinsdale City Code isn't a barrier to some of these things. The turf comes to mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I have a feeling that there's probably somewhere in our code or ordinances like where you have to maintain a certain type of yard. I could be mistaken, and Caleb probably knows, but I would just be curious to hear if you came across any examples of code or ordinance changes in those city examples, or like the big projects that kind of inspired you to look at Hopkins, Golden Valley, those other communities. If you have any of those off the top of your head, that'd be great.
We definitely have some examples that we have seen. There's that decibel rating on.
Oh man, are you able to talk?
I know there's like a decibel limit on heat pump things on side yards. That's a barrier to some people putting in heat pumps. That has been brought up by a member of our committee. There's wide breadths of things that you could change in city code, like encouraging accessory dwelling units to increase housing density, which can be viewed as a sustainable issue. So there's like a wide variety of different things that could be identified through like the work of putting together a plan and reviewing code to see if there are barriers, and talking with staff as well to see, I'm sure some city staff has opinions about things that could be changed in the code as well.
I would say also like solar permitting comes to mind. I don't actually know what our solar permitting barriers would be, but that could be a potential barrier. Same with insulation and DIY stuff, potentially empowering people to do that on their own. And then like I'm also thinking land use items like non-porous surfaces and things like that could potentially be changed. I don't know.
Great.
There's probably a lot. No offense.
Thank you. Yeah, I think getting the climate action plan underway is as Councilmember Parisian said, seems to be a good place to start and prioritize, and I would support that fully. I think from the other ideas I heard, like the green fund is interesting to me. I would also just kind of in general, when it comes to any kind of like funding of city stuff, I would love to get a rundown of like the different ways we can, I guess, gain those funds. So staff, I think when we're talking about this in the future, other things, if we can maybe get a rundown of like alternative funding methods. I know there's been talk of like a sales tax, and that requires state legislature. One thing that came to mind as I was biking over here, I noticed there was a new tobacco shop, or at least a newly lit up one, and I'm like thinking that, you know, is there like a vice tax opportunity here? I know Minneapolis has certain things that they do with their tobacco sales, and if we can somehow implement or utilize a similar mechanism to maybe fund special projects like these, I would be interested in hearing that. It doesn't have to be vice tax, but I would just, as an example, I would love just kind of a more broad sense of, or I would like a broad sense of like what we can do besides just raising people's property taxes, because no one wants to do that. No one wants to have to it's just a kind of if we're only sticking to one thing, I don't think we're not being creative enough. But that's kind of a general thing, not necessarily related to sustainability, but it kind of sparked my thinking when we were talking about it. And then I think from like next steps, are you all kind of looking for a specific action from council in the future? Is that something you're working with Kayla with to bring forward to us?
Yeah.
And you're kind of getting our vibe tonight, is that what?
The main thing we would like is funding for a consultant for a climate action plan. We think that's like a really actionable thing. We know it's a tough ask, so I'm not pretending like it's, you know, we can just cut right in and take money, but we do think that's one of our main asks, I would say, for you.
Okay.
But yeah, certainly feedback, I think, is always something we'd like more of, and collaboration in general from you and the public, because we hope there's people listening and care about this too.
I would like to see, thank you for clarifying that. Yeah, I would definitely like to see a number for that. I would love to see a number for the potential redesign of the landscape around Municipal City Hall, so we can get ground cover, what that looks like. And then I imagine it's a fairly low number, but if it's not budgeted already, you made a request for like signage and shirts and swag and other things like that. So if there isn't money allocated for that already, I would be supportive of getting that kind of thing.
Currently we do not have a budget, so we've been doing everything very scrappy and with the support of Kayla and, you know, whatever resources we can come up with. And that's gotten us this far, but it is, you know, to present tabling at community events and have, you know, tangible things that we can share with residents, that does require a little.
Okay, great.
Look at costs for that, but.
Yeah, perfect. Well, thank you for answering that. I'm just one vote up here, but I would definitely love to support all of that. And I just thank you again for all your work. And I'm glad there's some excitement that was really heartening to hear, because I feel like community engagement is kind of really important at this moment in time. And it's just good that we're finding ways to really look out for each other. So thank you. I'll leave it there.
Yep, Councilmember Greenberg.
Yeah. So thank you not only for the presentation and the information, but for being out in the community. You know, I go to a lot of events and I see you out tabling at a lot of stuff. So thank you so much for doing that, bringing awareness and just being engaged in our community. A lot of my questions have already been answered. Actually, you're bringing that up as far as like budgets and funding and things like that. Like, I know that there's a lot of resources available from Hennepin County, just something to think about as far as partnering with them to essentially get more access to some funds and, you know, just grants. It's all been brought up, but, you know, alternative ways of getting funding. I guess my main question is just around, I know there are a lot of initiatives, you talked about some of them that we're doing today, which are around organics or the home energy squad or Just we do some rebates from the city for making appliances more energy efficient, things like that. Is there, for those things that we're doing today, and you maybe don't know the answer off the top of your head, so this isn't necessarily like right now, but just thinking about like, if we were to put more into what we're already doing, like which of those areas would have the most impact as far as sustainability and climate? So it's like, I too noticed that, on my street, there's not a lot of, we have organics bin, but there's not a lot of organics bins out there. Is it relative to like recycling and trash? So would it be, do we have the biggest impact on our carbon footprint by having more organics? Would it be to get more home energy squad visits? It's like getting some guidance on, of the things we're doing, like what's the most effective way to have an impact? That I think that would be something that would be helpful to know as we move forward and do planning.
That's a really complicated question.
Yeah.
I think there's general disagreement about what is the best path forward in that sense. Carbon footprint, I think, is tricky because people can only do so much, right? Like the residential class, I'm thinking energy, I guess. If everyone decarbonized their homes overnight somehow, that'd be amazing. We would reduce our emissions quite a bit. But that's a really big ask for everyone to, buy a heat pump,
Right.
get a heat pump water heater, insulate their house, all of that. So we've kind of tried to chew on that question as well. The plan, I think, is a good start because it would give us some of those short-term goals and give us, professional guidance on like what are the attackables. And yeah, I think that's something we're aching for, is just like more consistent direction. But system change is honestly going to be necessary if we're going to adapt. So it's a lot of things. It's how we mow our lawns. It's how we drive to school. It's how we do a lot of the things how we throw away our trash. And those are harder and are education based. So I think community engagement is important. That's why I think we've focused on that as one of our subcommittees, because we understand that it's in isolation. None of this is going to get. We've known about climate change for a long time, and we're still kind of in a hole. So climbing out slowly and consistently is what our approach is. Sustainably.
Yeah,
Thank
that involvement and engagement and just that very fundamental level awareness and education is really where we would be focused to start, knowing that then we've got our energy, like our climate action plan, which is long-term, more sophisticated, but in order to get adoption of any one of these many activities, it really involves us making a concerted effort to be out in the community, overcoming some of those equity barriers that we know are there. So not everyone can afford to install a heat pump or get solar panels. However, if we can educate them on the importance of like, hey, are your appliances a little bit older? So it's important to start planning ahead because there are better options, more efficient ways to do that. Here are guidelines on how to get prepared. And then if, I understand finding funding is very important for that, but I think that it also behooves us to meet our residents kind of halfway in between. So when it comes to things like a new remodel and somebody is looking to electrify their home, of course, that is an expensive project. It also comes with, acquiring permits from the city. So if, there was an incentive on, are you installing a new, water heater furnace? If you are choosing an electric option, that we could waive the permit fee for that. Just as an example of how we can make it a little bit more, welcoming, and, make it an advantage for those who are looking at their different options to consider a greener, more sustainable way to do so.
Thanks.
Just to be more extreme, like if you wanted to ban cars, you could do that. I think. I don't know if that's actually.
That'll go well.
I'm just saying there could be a lot of more
Next meeting,
aggressive
let's talk
actions.
Yeah.
We're gonna,
We'll keep it realistic for now.
Yeah.
keeping it very achievable.
It's a joke.
Realistic.
I know.
We're not about banning cars. Offering more charging locations for electric cars, 100%. And
Sure.
education on how to do that, yes, that's where we're starting.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks
Thank
for
you.
your time.
I have one more
Yes,
question.
Councilmember Parisi.
Thank you. One more quick question, just while you have the floor and some hopefully eyes and ears on this committee at the moment. If someone's watching, listening, or present who wants to get involved, what would be the best way to do that?
You can email Kayla, I believe. Is that right? Is that the right answer? Okay. Or Tim, or I think any of your council members would help direct you as well.
There's also a section for sustainability on the city website. There's more information on it.
Great.
Thank you.
Great.
Good
Thank
question.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Next, under presentations, National Disability Employment Awareness Month Proclamation.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the council. I'll just briefly introduce this for you. So as part of ongoing efforts to continue to promote inclusivity and diversity, the staff DEI committee has been putting together a series of proclamations for the council to approve and declare in Robbinsdale. And this month is National Disability Employment Awareness Month. So we're asking the council to declare that as such in October, the month of October in Robbinsdale.
Excellent. Excellent. Happy to do so. Anything you need me to do at this moment?
Council can certainly discuss it. Otherwise, we just take a motion and a vote to
Okay.
declare it as National Disability Employment Awareness Month in Robbinsdale.
Excellent. Council, any comments? Questions? Motions?
Happy to support.
Okay.
If, Mr. Mayor, if there are no comments from the council, I would be happy to move that we adopt the proclamation that indicates October as National Disability Employment Awareness Month.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no or nay. All right. Proclamation supported. Next, public hearings. First, we've got the public hearing and adoption of assessment roll for unpaid administrative penalties.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council member. First public hearing today is for adoption of assessment roll for unpaid administrative penalty. Throughout the year, city staff have sent administrative citation notes to property owners that have incurred administrative penalty. The property were found to be in violation of Administrative Penalty Chapter 1, Section 117 of the City of Robbinsdale City Code. If an amount is not paid within 30 days after the billing statement is sent, the code provider that will constitute a lien on real property. We have a variety from violation from $50 to $2,200. There will be additional administrative fee of $75 per property address and $2.50 Hennepin County fee. For the 2025, we have a total of $65,258 and 41 cents. And the resolution for final assessment amount establish 1 year payback with the interest rate of 8%. Property owner have until November 14 to pay the assessment in full without interest.
So I see some of these numbers. I'm sorry. Any comments?
Oh, no,
questions?
sorry.
Yeah. Comments, questions from the council? So I see some of these numbers, like we have properties, one's total $12,584.08 owed in administrative fees. That's their current balance with us, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And our method of contact is we call, we mail, do we knock on doors? Like, how do we?
Mr. Mayor, Council, so just to kind of give a brief overview, generally, some of what you're talking about include inoperable vehicles, exterior storage, garbage and refuse. But one of the bigger, most common, a couple dozen offenses of rental dwelling licenses. code enforcement takes a number of forms and functions for them to be, or a number of forms for them to function properly. Includes everything from a door knock to a phone call to when formal citations are initiated, that goes out through USPS. So a number of attempts are made. Oftentimes, as soon as we hear from folks, if there are extenuating circumstance, those are considered. But for some of the more escalating what you're calling out, those are often items that are ignored until we get to this phase. So again, as Mr. Tahoon noted in his memo, this is something that we go through annually. Unfortunately, there are some properties that just continue to require addressing, and again, sort of in those areas as described. So city staff continues to make it a priority that communication is effective and prompt, so we can address these items, but some go unresolved.
I didn't doubt it, but I appreciate you stating it for us all to hear. All right. I guess we got to conduct a public hearing, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Mr. Mayor, Council, I'll just reiterate, staff's recommendation is to conduct a public hearing, so a motion to open, receive your public feedback after closing. If council has any questions, comments, or concerns for staff, we'd be happy to respond, and then ultimately waive the reading and order the adoption of the attached resolution.
Great. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no or nay. Okay, public hearing is open. Anybody have anything they'd like to add?
Hearing none, I will move that we close the public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no or nay. Okay, public hearing is closed. So the next motion is to, if I'm reading this correctly, right, waive the reading and order the adoption of the attached resolution adopting the assessment role for unpaid administrative penalties.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no or nay. All right, on to the next.
Second one is for emergency water and sewer repairs. So annually, City Council consider assessment of emergency water and sewer repairs. The property owner petition for this improvement and for request for the city assistant for financing emergency water and sewer repair by assessing this cost over a number of years. This year we have two properties that the request help for a total of $27,623. There will be addition administrative fee of $75, and the county will add addition $2.75. The resolution set final assessment amount established over 10-year payback period with an interest rate of 8%. Property owner have until November 14, 2025 to pay assessment in full without interest.
Excellent. Council, any questions? Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no or nay. Does anybody have anything to say now? Nope.
Hearing none, I will move to close the public hearing.
Second.
Thank you. All those opposed, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no or nay. Okay. So next, we'll need a motion to waive the reading and order the adoption of the attached resolution adopting the assessment role for emergency water and sewer repairs.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no or nay. So adopted. Okay.
The third one and the last one we have for assessment for delinquent utilities. Annually, the City Council consider assessment for all delinquent residential utility accounts which are more than 30 days past due for amounts that were due in August, for which payment have not received by the public hearing date. This year, there is a delinquent utility assessment of $796. correct.
796,500.
747,720.26. There will be additional $75 for admin fees and $2.50 service charge. The total amount will end up to $779,220.26. There will be the final assessment amount established 1 year payback period with an interest rate of 8%. Property owner have until November 11 of the year of adoption to pay assessment in full without interest.
So I have a question.
Yes.
The number that you stated is different than what's in our memo,
Yeah,
and so I
think
just
Chase he sent an updated file.
that was
for-
in the note.
because
Mr. Mayor, Councilmember Greenberg, part of the material sent out by the city clerk
Got
included
it.
that. Some folks came in and paid their bills since
Got
this
it.
went
Got
out.
it. Got it.
Ah,
Perfect.
Excellent. Excellent.
this is kind of like different of 50,000 less than the
Yeah.
original.
And then I have one other question, just as like some of these, a lot of the numbers sort of fall in the same kind of range, but there's several that are much larger. And I'm wondering, is that like over years or that's just this
No,
year?
just this year.
Okay.
There's roughly like 28% increase than last year.
Yeah, I saw that's a heck of an increase. That's a heck of a balance. I know it's I've fallen victim to this where I've changed banking information or if it was a credit card or something and maybe had 3 months stack up and I thought that was my water bill at one point. But this is, you can hear this is a big number. So I'm pay your bill. So all right, I just lost the page I was on here.
Mr. Mayor.
Is there a motion to open the? Yeah, sorry.
Can staff, Tim or Dia, can you just kind of go over the process for what happens after tonight? Like, what can residents expect if this, if their outstanding balance is kind of sent onward to the next step? Can you just
basically,
reiterate that again? Thank you.
Starting, if the city council approves this one, we will start adding the $75 to each account. Each resident has up to November 14 to do the payment for whatever is the balance plus $75, so he can avoid adding this balance to his taxes and interest of the 8%. This is what we try to do, and especially like this fund is very sensitive because we have a bond payment. We maintaining a city bond rating and very good as AA+. So that if like default for not paying, this is affect all the infrastructure project and employee working for like water treatment plant, water tower 1. We have another project for water tower 2. So this is very critical for the city.
So this, just to clarify, so this will show up on your maybe on 2026 Hennepin County tax. Okay.
So to underscore that, if this doesn't get paid, all of us as residents end up paying for this somehow through, because we've got to pay these bills, right?
It will go to the taxes, but still, like there is certain program here in the state of Minnesota, like if someone's senior and with certain income, so they can do certain deferrals. So this is where it comes at some account. Since 2005, we didn't get any payment from them.
Yeah. So, but there's avenues to
And
assist.
unless the house gets sold for closure, not a primary resident, maybe city will recover the money or maybe not.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions or comments from the council? Yes, Councilmember Parisian.
Thank you, Mayor. This is more of a report formatting question. So the way that the first several pages, they're nicely organized by address. And then when we get to the last two, and the address is by alphabetical street name. And then we get to the last couple of pages and then the addresses are a little bit jumbled. Can you speak to the formatting, and not that I don't doubt that it's all accurate. I think just as I'm scrolling through, if I were, a resident looking to see if my street address is on this list, and then getting to the end and not being able to identify a specific address very easily.
Yeah, we can take care of this for the next time. Sorry
Okay.
for this such a mistake.
I know that's a bit of a picky question, but I think the formatting, this is important information, and so
Understood.
I think those details matter. So thank you.
Yeah.
Right. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
I will move to open the public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no or nay. The public hearing is open. Does somebody have something they'd like to say? Nick?
Hello. I just have more of a question, maybe. Is this gas and utilities, or gas and electricity, or is this water?
No, just
Water.
Just water. Okay, that was my main question. Thank you.
Thanks.
Any other questions or comments from the public? Okay. Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no or nay. Public hearing is closed. All right, next we'll need a motion to waive the reading and order the adoption of the attached resolution adopting the assessment roll for delinquent utilities.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no or nay. Okay. So it is. All right. Moving on to old business, there is none. Moving on to new business, we were going to move item C, approve settlements in Nelson versus Kusick to the front. Any discussion by the council? Okay.
Mr. Mayor, Council, I'm going to give a quick update, and we'll entertain a motion in a second in your vote. Just to share out, the City Council previously met in a closed session to receive information from our attorney regarding a settlement in Nelson versus Kusick. A lawsuit was brought against Crystal Sergeant Geoffrey Kusick, who responded to a Robbinsdale call at the request of Robbinsdale officers in 2020. Adam Nelson, who was armed and suicidal, was shot by Sergeant Kusick as was advanced on officers with a loaded firearm. Mr. Nelson sustained multiple gunshot wounds but survived. Recently, a tentative settlement was reached. The settlement includes payment to Mr. Nelson in the amount of $3.175 million. Of this amount, $2 million will be paid by the League of Minnesota Cities Insurance Trust, and the remaining will be contributed by the City of Robbinsdale. The settlement resolves all the civil litigation stemming from the July 12, 2020 incident. The agreement allows the parties to avoid protracted litigation, which may have taken several years to resolve. The settlement does not assume fault by any of the named parties, and the city supports actions of all officers on scene as necessary and justified to protect public safety.
Thank you. If no one has any objections here, I move to approve the settlement in the lawsuit of Nelson versus Kusick and approve appropriating $1.75 million from the city to the global settlement of any and all claims in this litigation, including attorney's fees.
One point of clarification, the city appropriation is 1.175. I believe that you misstated it was 1.75. It's 1.175.
Thank you. Yes, you want me to restate that entire statement? Okay. So I move to approve the settlement in the lawsuit Nelson versus Kusick and approve appropriating $1.175 million from the city to the global settlement of any and all claims in this litigation, including attorney's fees.
Second.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say no or nay. So moved. Okay. Next, a closed session pursuant to Minnesota Statute Section 13D05, Subdivision 2B, for preliminary consideration of allegations against the city manager. By motion, is there a move to a closed session for this preliminary consideration of the allegations against the city manager?
So moved.
Second.
We good? All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no or nay. Okay. Let's enter into a closed session. reopen the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say no or nay. Okay, meeting has been reopened. Next, under new business, there's a closed session pursuant to Minnesota Statute 13D05, Subdivision 2B, for the preliminary consideration of allegations against Commissioner Jonathan Hansen.
I make a motion to move to a closed session.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no or nay. Session is closed. Is there a motion to reopen session? Is that what we're doing right now?
Yeah. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no or nay. Okay. Other business. Voucher requests pending approval for disbursement. Any discussion there needed?
I will move that we approve the voucher requests.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed say no or nay. All right. Moving along at a good clip now. Administrative reports.
Nothing for me tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Council, just real briefly, I want to thank everybody who came out to the Boo Bash. We had an unseasonably warm night for that on Friday. Great attendance. Thanks to all the community members and organizations that came out and tabled. I also want to thank staff, commissioners, council members who joined us for the bus tour on Thursday. We were able to make a couple stops in Hopkins and St. Louis Park and hear from some of our counterparts. Hopefully, council found that is a good exercise as we continue to move forward with some of that process. Well, not a one-for-one, good envisioning type of exercise. Want to note that the Manor Park Playground removal and replacement is shaping up. We're still looking at a mid-month removal, and then from there we'll certainly communicate out what that new equipment will look like. I know we had a post on social media today that got some attention, so we look forward to that. And then also want to give a thanks to our recreation leader and the mayor got together and did some communication for some yard waste with CCX. So we're continuing to work on some bigger items, but we'll communicate out in the meantime how some people might be able to mitigate some of those concerns as we go into fall.
Excellent, Tim. Thank you. Council General Communications at 9:58 p.m.
I start.
Councilmember Wagner, go ahead.
I started this end. All right. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, staff, for the very robust meeting this evening. Thank you for the residents that came out and spoke. The work session, Tim, next week, are we going to get an update or a kind of a project? Let's call it a project status update on the Shoreline Drive thing with, I know some residents have brought that up at the last couple of meetings.
Mr. Mayor, Councilmember Wagner, I guess we hadn't intended to, not by way of ignoring the topic, rather because we're in the midst of doing some updates. It's been another good example of ongoing community input, feedback, where we've made some adjustments. Thinking in terms, for example, the roundabout has now taken on still concerns being highlighted for speed and pedestrian safety, but what that design looked like has actually been altered. We have been in contact with a number of the neighbors. I know a gentleman that spoke here tonight expressed a lack of communication, so we'll have to dig through materials to see if I can find his directly, but no intention until we have more formal information to present to council. That said, council members are always welcome to join staff when we meet. Councilmember Greenberg has met with a number of staff from the community this summer already.
All right. Thank you. Yeah, I think for myself, and I don't even know if there's a direct ask or anything to you, but just the sidewalk question and the parking question came to mind. In particular, like, is the sidewalk being moved and what's that looking like? So I probably will ask about that piece next week. A resident earlier brought up the Citizens Utility Board. I thought that was a good idea. I don't really know anything about the organization, so I couldn't necessarily speak to like whether or not the city should work with them, but excited to hear about that for the first time and learn about them. Let's see. I went down the wrong way with my notes here. Yeah, we had some productive public hearings. So again, thank you to the residents that came out to talk about those. And I know it's difficult, especially with some of those numbers of the totals of the water utility in particular can get up there. But just know that we're here to hear you out and listen to you. We didn't have anybody speak in the public hearings today, but we have had them in the past, and we're usually really good about hearing you out and can work with you. And so I just want to say that to any residents that might still be watching or have gotten this far in the recording that please come by to those. It's not, you're not going to be ignored for sure. So, and then I think I just wanted to just kind of add a brief comment on the settlement that we voted on. I want residents to know was a difficult decision that we had to come through, and I think we worked together in a very real way to come up with a solution that was responsible and that we just took it really seriously. So I can't really talk a lot about it, but I just wanted to add that we really were thinking hard about it, and it was a tough situation. So, but with that, I guess just enjoy the fall weather finally.
Okay. Councilmember Parisian, anything?
Nothing for me this evening. Thank you.
Okay. Councilmember Blackledge?
Yes, I just want to say thank you to the council and staff. We had a very robust week last week, out and about, and appreciate that time that it took to put that and organize that for us to go out and reimagine what Robbinsdale can look like as well. And just want to say thanks again to my fellow council members. I really feel appreciation and value and be able to work alongside and with you and be able to work through things and be intentional on what's the best move for our city. So I think you need to call that out intentionally and just say I appreciate you all for the work you put in. And then as always, at this fall, as we transition, enjoy the weather, get out, start some bonfires, make sure you get a permit. And yeah, invite your neighbors over. Like I said, let's continue to make sure that we can connect and be mindful around that. So get out and meet and greet. That's all I have for tonight.
Thank you, Raymond. Councilmember Greenberg, anything?
Yeah, just a couple things. It was great to see everyone out at the Boo Bash. Thanks to everyone who makes that happen, the city staff, all the organizations that volunteered. It was just great to see the community out and enjoying Robbinsdale, and just felt, it's like a very Robbinsdale type of event. So it was really cool. I'm excited that we keep doing that. And again, thanks to everybody. I'll also mention we're currently working on the budget, so be aware of that. I know that there's a lot of messaging that goes out. The initial stuff that you'll be seeing here shortly is the do not exceed number, so we're still working on that. But if you do have feedback, please let any of us know, because that is very valuable. And that's all I'll say for now.
Great, thank you. And I'll just wrap with, again, great to see people at the Boo Bash. That was an amazing event. It was very warm. Yes, it is budget season. It's not easy, especially when Hennepin County is raising taxes as high as they're raising taxes, and the school board's going to come looking for money. And, we need to run the city as well. And just, if those of you are listening, this is not a decision that we take lightly. This is something that comes with a lot of thought, and it's difficult, but we'll do our best to try to be as gentle as we can. And that's where I'll leave it. Have a good rest of your week. Is there a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no or nay. Meeting adjourned.